Going up. Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to the Monday Show. The Tuesday
Mm.
Show, 67. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, another week at hand, another slew of VR games to play through, huh?
I know. Monday show on Tuesday, everybody loves it. And yeah, tons of games. And actually, what was ironic is I actually took the day off to go get a driver's license because, you got to make a whole appointment for these things anymore. And I figured, screw it. So I just, had a lot of time to check out video games today. And people were shocked I wasn't in Population One. It's almost like I do a podcast and have a couple other games to talk about because I feel like if I just came and talked about Pop One all the time, people would. They would lynch me and they would get tired of me. So in that order.
Well, it's nice to have a change in the pace every once in a while, right?
Yeah, dude, because some of the games I went into, one of them we're not going to talk about today, but when I went, there was a couple of games I just was so blown away. I think it's good to get away from a lot of certain games and then come back and like you're just kind of, I don't know, I was mesmerized and I really had a good time with the games that we played and it was cool.
Yeah, there's a good cross section of every genre on Viveport Infinity, and I think that's kind of one of the strengths of it is because when you do what we did here today, and for those of you who don't know what the topic is today, we're pretty much talking about games, and we just decided to start striking some of the things off of the Viveport Infinity list that we've been meaning to try out, and a wide variety of different genres, and it really just goes to show you how versatile VR is as a platform. And the same could be said for Infinity.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in myself, Wes, because now that I'm thinking about it, I saw Radio Runt's comment. I think it was Radio Runt stands, man. I Oshi Wash, dude. Like you said, bucket list. This is my bucket list of games I really want to go into. But that's actually, what's funny is we joke about it. Some of these unknown games or bizarre games, but some of them we've gone into and we've actually enjoyed. And so that's what's good about Viveport is not only do you have those bucket list games that you want to go into, but you have like a shitload of games that maybe on the surface the name looks weird or it's Tornuffalo or just something, but like the content that you get with a Viveport Infinity and subscription is just there's so much of stuff that and unknown like Space Cat with lasers that you might just fall in love with, and you never would have tried it without having an Infinity subscription. So
Yeah. Space Cats with Lasers, certainly one of our good finds from Viveport. And I would say that probably at least one of these titles that we played today, I probably wouldn't have tried if it weren't for the fact that it's on Infinity. And that's really what Infinity is good for. I mean, of course, it's a good go to for people who are new to VR, people who have a limited library and a limited budget. It's obviously a great deal. But in addition to that, for people like you and I who have a pretty extensive library of VR games, it's a good way to check out those games that you wouldn't have otherwise looked at, right? And you know, outside of sometimes a questionable name and a questionable thumbnail, if you could actually click into some of these games and start taking a look, you'll be quite surprised at just how good some of them look. I mean, a lot of them are indie games, but we've said it, many times on the program here that the indie developers are getting better, and the game engines themselves are getting better, which is allowing the independent product to get better as well.
yeah, it's funny because all three of the Viveport Infinity ones that we're talking about, I wouldn't have tried any of them for different reasons. You know what I mean? Cost is one because it just didn't seem to be, it was weird as far as like Um, just looked indie. And then the other
Yeah.
one was because it just I played similar games to it, but all three of them I enjoyed for different reasons. So yeah, I'm getting my money's worth on Infinity. It's definitely an amazing deal, even at the was it $100 or something like that for the year, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was even less during the Black Friday thing, and they gave you um, Phasmophobia to boot.
Ooh,
But I think Roots now that the Phasmophobia is actually part of Infinity as well. So as long as you have any kind of Viveport Infinity subscription, you can access that game, and that's another one on my bucket list.
oh, that's good. Well, there's a lot of games on the bucket list, but I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to go back at all three of these games again. Although I know one of them you don't even have to because you beat it, and we'll talk about that soon. But I guess we're forgetting the chat, right? I see Tiffany just came in. I was just putting Tiffany with the exclamation mark, but there's no more better exclamation mark than actually verbally saying, "Hey, Tiffany, how you doing? We're glad to see you." Um, and everybody else, right? Onakazi,
Yeah, I
Ray
was
Pope.
just sending her out a message as well as you're speaking here. So yeah, why don't you do that and say hello to our friends in chat while I finish up what I'm typing here.
Okay, well, Midnight Piper wants to know what's good for bro for PS4. Actually, PS4, there's a lot of good games out there, but most of them aren't
And
new.
yeah, Swords of Gargantua dropped today. That
Oh
that was
shit!
supposedly was pretty good.
Yeah, actually, it looks pretty good. And then Ray Pope, Radio Run, Overgees says howdy all. Scion VR, as always, is there. Radio Run, I think, was the first person in the chat. If I scroll all the way back, no, that was Spry Guy. Actually, I'm naive. I don't think there's been a night or show that I saw that Spry Guy was not the first person there. And that's usually like almost always, man. He's number one. He tries to beat me, Wes, I think.
I think he was first today, wasn't he?
He
Yeah, he
was.
was.
He almost
Yeah,
always is. So,
that's dedication. So yeah, thank you to everyone showing out late. Well, I guess early for some people, right? I mean, I don't know if we have any of our European homies in the house, but it's the very early morning for them. But for the rest of us, people on this side of the pond, it's very late. So we appreciate you guys hanging out, staying up, catching the Monday show on a Tuesday, a late Tuesday, or as Onakazi would put it, almost Wednesday.
it is almost Wednesday. Well, I'll tell you what, for me, it's only 10. It's not even 10 yet, Wes. It's early for Radio Run. It's even earlier. It's 9 o'clock. It's West Coast time. This is the best show for West Coast as well. So I guess let's get into it. Don't we have a really good thing lined out here, I think.
Yeah, yeah, we've got DLC for what was already one of the best games on Oculus Quest, and I'm talking, of course, about In Death Unchained. You know, not very many games on Oculus Quest have quite impressed us to the level of this one. Generally, we're impressed with uh, a a standalone version of a game if it's somewhat comparable to the PC slash console version of the game. But on a rare occasion, you'll come across a game like In Death Unchained, where maybe it isn't a straight port, maybe there's a different developer building it from the ground up for standalone, and they'll get it just right to the point to where the standalone version actually happens to be the preferable version to play. And this game was already that heading into today. But something very important happened today, and it's something that they've been teasing for a while. We finally got the playable DLC, the free playable DLC that developer Superbright has been promising us. And of course, where our manners, we'd like to thank those developers, those good friends at Superbright for providing Roots and I with review access to the DLC. Now, this DLC is called the Siege of Heaven, and what the idea was here is they were hearing a lot from the community, and any good developer, of course, always wants to listen to what the community says. But the community was telling them that uh, we want to share this game with our friends and family, but many of them aren't you know VR uh, players, people who are into VR, and the game's a bit intense. It's a bit scary. Could you give us something and take it down a notch? And they've done that effectively, Roots here, by putting you up kind of on a pedestal above the action. But as far as the gameplay loop goes, they've done a great job of preserving it. Your skills translate 1 to 1 from the main campaign over into the DLC, and you're basically chasing a leaderboard. But that's okay because that's what you were really doing in the first place, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was leaderboard for sure. The only thing I will say about this is, when I play Population One, my shoulders and certain muscles. Here it's I think it's my left arm. Like I'll tell you what, dude. They're doing the bow and arrow. This is the first time when I've actually considered crossbow, and I haven't tried it crossbow, but I was thinking, this would probably be really fun crossbow because there's so many people, so many things coming, and when you get past those first few waves, it starts to get different. You know what I mean? Like the first few waves. Let's be honest. There's like one or two guys coming, and I'm like, man, I need some more stuff going on. But the coolest thing about this for me, Wes, is it actually gave me opportunity to figure out all the different bows, or I mean arrows, right? Because you right off the
Yeah.
bat, because Super Bright gave us those points. Like, yeah, I think we got a little bit advanced. I got to check everything out, and as you progress in these waves, I started feeling like I needed certain ones, and I needed explosive ones, or I needed different types. The dome one was really cool. Although by the time I figured out what was happening, they were almost out through it, but it like slowed time down, and it was just really cool for me, and it really was exactly what they said. Because you're far removed, I didn't feel any trepidation. Like, I mean, obviously you don't want them to get to the portal and lose, but that fear factor is gone. Nothing's in your face. So for anybody that was like apprehensive about trying this game before, I think this absolutely would be cool for them to try for sure.
Yeah, it's a good way to display what, I think is the best archery in VR. It's certainly the best archery I've tried in VR. Um, but for those of you who haven't played it yet or watched any kind of gameplay video, what they've basically done here, I was skeptical, Roots, and I don't know why. I mean, they've kept every promise that they've given us, but I was skeptical when they referred to this as a full featured game within a game. But that's exactly what this is. They have taken In Death and twisted it and manipulated it and given us basically what we have here is a full-fledged tower defense wave shooter. And I know it's not everybody's favorite genre because it's a bit, done in VR already, but not quite like this because they take the gameplay loop from In Death and kind of pull it over that structure of tower defense wave shooter. And you know, you'll have your basic waves like you would with any tower defense. And in between rounds, of course, you'll get to spend your gold to buy special arrows and special abilities, just like you would in Death proper. In addition to that, they've added in a couple of things that you don't see in the regular game, things that are common to this genre, this tower defense wave shooter genre. For example, you'll have these explosive skulls that will fly through the crowd, and if you can time your shot just right and hit them, they'll explode and kill all the enemies that are
Mm.
close to them. This is something that I've seen in other wave shooter tower defense type games, but never in Death. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but every now and then you'll get halfway through a wave and you'll start hearing the laughter of children in your
Hmm.
ears. And if you look up on the horizon, there'll be this little golden cherub running across the scene here. And if you can manage to shoot that thing, which is not very easy, it's tiny and it's fast. But if you can manage to shoot it, you'll get a free upgrade,
Oh.
like a bonus arrow. So yeah, they've really done a good job here, and it's really remarkable just how quickly they've put this thing together. They've really got some talented people working there at Super Bright.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about those kids because they annoyed the hell out of me. Because you hear this laughing and you see the kid running, and I was trying to shoot it and I couldn't hit the fucker, and I was like, I got, I thought maybe I was missing, but like you said, like I every single time, I don't know how many times I played this game. I played every single level several different times, and I couldn't hit the kids, man. They're fast, and you know what was cool too is like in here especially, but you have those gaps and stuff, and if you can hit through there, you can get like gap bonuses. I don't know what I think it's actually gappies, or I don't know what they have some kind of
It
cool
was
name for.
called some kind of ambush, something ambush.
Yeah, so you have all these different things, and you can actually get combos like by hitting people quick enough, and like they've have different things that you can be doing. And what's crazy is it's simple. Okay, I've got look at this. This is just simple until it's not simple. And there's like 15, you're wave 15 or something. And then there's different things coming. There's those skulls coming. There's fast skeletons running with swords. There's the other guys with the shields. Like there's all sorts of shit. Everything's making noise. And I'm constantly thinking something somewhere else. And I can only imagine what happens when you get to wave 20, 25, 30. I'm sure Wes probably beat the wave thing, even though you can't beat it. Somehow he's that good. Um, but
Actually, I didn't, but I do think that you can.
okay. Well, I got to like 15 or 16. I don't know what it was, but it was cool because it was just different. Everything changed, right? The enemies, and they just progressively got harder and faster, and you started to have this moment where you're thinking differently. You're like, okay, shit, man, I shouldn't have got rid of those explosive arrows because you have a group of them coming, and you kind of need to take out that group because you're running out of time. But no, I thought it was really cool. It was something extra, and I am assuming, and I don't know if you can or not, but it'd be nice, like on Space Pirate Trainer, I think it is. You can start wave 5, wave 10, wave 15. It'd be a nice ability once you've beat through, if that isn't the case, for them to add that, because I don't want to do wave 1, 2, 3, like the ones where there's one or two coming. That's just it's too basic for Roots. Just got to throw them past 5, 10, 20.
It's possible for them to do that. I'm not sure they would want to because it is so heavily leaderboard based.
Oh, that's true.
But they could do it in a similar fashion to Polybius. The way Polybius does is it logs your best top score after each level that you beat. So like after wave one, you'll have a top score, and if you want to, you can come back and start from that point. Say you wanted to start on wave two, and it'll automatically start you at whatever your top score was at that
Oh,
point.
okay.
That's in classic mode. Of course, in pure mode, it won't do that. But
Right.
in classic mode, that's how Polybius works. Um,
I could see it. I guess the
through,
leaderboard does kind of put a little kink into exactly what I just said. Even what you said, it couldn't be if you were wanting to do leaderboard. It's like, okay, so you just get your best fifth, first five, and then from then you're always starting at that best score, and that's not fair to everybody else, right? So
yeah, it does. I mean, it's fair because everybody would have access to it, but I'm not so sure that's the vision that they had here when they put this thing together.
okay, well, they probably weren't thinking about Roots being too bored for the first couple levels. You just have to suck it up, Roots. How awesome did it look, right? Each one of the three different environments looked cool. And as I'm seeing him shoot up at that bell like it's nothing, that's how I knew my arm was tired, Wes. Because when I started having trouble hitting the bell after several games of this, I was like, okay, my muscle on my left arm is getting tired, and that's when I started thinking about the crossbow. Even though I guess I still would have been holding, it would have been my other arm, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was the same here. My arms started to get tired after a while, but I just kind of powered through it.
Hmm.
Um, so what Root said is true. We're starting out here with three distinct, very different levels. The cool thing about that is one of the levels is kind of themed after the Abyss level in the main game, the main campaign, which is something that is fairly difficult to unlock. So you do get a bit of a taste of the Abyss by checking out the Siege of Heaven. But three levels right now, Roots, but more on the way.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, how cool is it that you've already bought the base game? You've already got an amazing game in and of itself, and now you have extra modes. And I'm not somebody that is like somebody that wants to do wave shooters, but you know, I find myself every once in a while, and I know this will probably sound very bizarre to you since you've never even tried the fucking game, but I go into the lab and I'll shoot those bow and arrow guys every once in a while, right? But this is cooler because these are different types of enemies and they're making squishy noises as they're moving. And you know, it's actually difficult. I'll tell you what, the guys with the one thing I want to know though, like, okay, those skeletons that are starting to run that are faster, right, with the sword, you know, I guess it's just everybody as they're carrying whatever they're carrying, they could be carrying nothing because they can't get to me, bro. I'm safe up here on this pedestal. So
Uh, I'll tell you what, man, the level designers here did a really good job, especially in the later waves, because what they'll do, and it's a fairly large spread with a lot of entry points where enemies will be entering into the level. So what they'll do to challenge you in the later waves is they'll have a bunch of guys come off from a really far entrance onto your right, and you'll hear them and you'll look over there and you'll start engaging with that group over there, right? And what you won't realize is the fast runner, the skeleton guy, is coming in from the backside while they've distracted you over here. So while your back's turned, he's running through the gates. They do a lot of stuff like that, a lot of misdirection, a lot of you know, cover from the environmental cover for you to try to shoot through the gaps of. A lot of different things they've done here to ramp up the challenge, and it's really well balanced, as Roots said. The early wave's not that difficult until you start trying to score points on them. Like try because the let's be honest, the difference between the very top and you know the mid range players is only about this much. What sets these people apart is they're the guys that are going through the first waves, hitting every headshot without missing.
oh shit.
So that's where the challenge really comes from. Those early waves is you want to hit it perfect to set yourself up for a really good score later on.
I don't think I'm going to be able to hit those headshots like you, Wes. Oh, you were talking about yourself, I'm assuming. Now, that is something to keep your eye out for. Wes is you are making a thing for the channel, right? Of this gameplay.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I started to do it earlier today. Had some technical stuff happen, which kind of sidetracked me a little bit, and then my family needed my computer for some
Oh,
important things, so I kind of postponed. But yeah, I am doing a gameplay of this. I'm going to fully show it off to you guys, and it's okay because we're here. We're covering it now, right?
yeah. Well, and the thing is now you know that everybody knows to watch it because I guarantee you Wes is going to kick ass with it. So, especially if he's doing it, he's now I'm throwing the gauntlet down. So he's, I
Well, here's the thing. Generally, I'm when I get hooked on these type of leaderboard chasers, I get obsessed with it, and I'll go and I'll go and I'll go until I hit the top. In Death has been the one exception to this because there are some badass in Death players out there, and you know, as good as I feel like I am at this game, I'm nothing compared to these guys. When they get their hands on this DLC, they're going to set the bar so high that I'm not going to come anywhere close. While you know, that said, there's a lot of players, so I feel like I'm probably a bit better with the bow and arrow than the average guy. I'm nowhere near the top tier players in this game.
well, you're better than me. I can't wait to see it. So
Yeah, so stay tuned. Probably out tomorrow, if not later tonight. I'll have a gameplay up.
cool.
Anyway, let's move on to our promised bucket list discussion of Viveport Infinity. Roots, this catalog is expanding so quickly. I don't know if we're ever going to catch up to it, especially if I don't renew. I think in like March or April, my Infinity annual pass is going to run out, and I may renew it, but I may not. And if I don't, I mean, there's no way, even with 3 months notice, there's no way I'm going to get to all of it.
Oh, wow, dude, that would suck, man. Because if you can't get to games, then we can't cover the games like this. I would, you know, I'll tell you what. There's so many games out there that when we were just talking about this topic, I came up with a couple instantly. Like, I mean, there was one of them was a no brainer for me, just because everybody's been like, well, not everybody, but there's a good handful of people that have been screaming for you to check it out. Like, this is right up Wes's alley. Like, this game he has to play it. It's a puzzle game. It's a horror game. It's crazy. And I went into it myself and I was like, what the fuck is happening here? It's crazy, right?
Dude, so what Roots is talking about here, I think I think it was Shiny Robot. Was it Shiny that was been trying to get us to play Last Labyrinth for about the past 6 months? And I mean, he was trying to buy me the game, just so certain that this was my type of thing. And when we decided on Viport Infinity, this was kind of the first thing that Roots picked. And I had another couple of titles in mind, and I was going to get into Last Labyrinth if I had time, but at the end of the day, I ended up playing these other games a lot more and didn't get around to it. But then when I started touching base with Roots a couple hours ago, uh, trying to nail down a time for the show, he said, "Let's make it later. You got to try this out. This is going to be your type of deal. I promise you. Just take a little bit of time and get in there and check it out." And that's why we went on so late today, was so that I could play one more game, check out Last Labyrinth. And I got to say, Roots, you were spot on, man. This is my type of dark stuff, and man, is it dark.
Yeah, it was dark. And like, there was one part where okay, so the thing is you're in a wheelchair, right? And I didn't even realize it at first because I'm like, I'm trying to move in the dark and I'm like, what is happening? I thought my controllers were fucked up, right? And then I finally lasered the thing because you have a laser thing in your hand. That's all you can. The only way you can communicate to this chick is you click where you want her to do it. So she pulls on the thing, and I look down, and I'm chained. And I got this laser thing in my hand, and that in and of itself was really cool because it really made me feel like I'm in this experience, and it tells you right off the bat, when you're sitting there getting a comfortable position, and it tells you like in the instructions to really take that seriously, like if you leave your arms like they are in the thing, it really does give you immersion to what's going on. And I had this naive thought, Wes, that I'm an observer, and there was a point in this game where it became very apparent that I'm not an observer. I'm in this thing and I'm gonna die too. Cause I was like, oh fuck you. You got stuck. You should have been paying attention. And then the next thing I knew, it was happening to me. And I was like, oh shit, like this is not cool, bro. Like I don't want to die. It was cool, man. I don't have I want to play this more because it's creepy. And I don't know. The first beginning of it started, I was like, oh dude, now I see what Shiny was doing, like why he wanted Wes in here, because this is Wes's jam.
Dude, it is my jam on so many levels. Onakazi says Last Labyrinth. Oh yeah, the Japanese ICO dungeon game that was way too expensive for what it looked like for me to buy.
That
Well, let me just say this: one, they've already dropped the price on it. When it came to Oculus Quest, they cut the price $10 off. And besides that, like we're talking about today, it's part of Viveport Infinity now, so you can get around that price.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I said at the beginning of this, kind of as a teaser, that each one of these games had a different reason for why I wouldn't have gone into it. This is the reason, the exact reason, Otakazi. Like when I first saw the price for it, I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm not paying $40 for this game." As cool as it looked, and what was weird is like people raved about it. They said it was amazing, and I still thought I'm not paying $40 for this game. It was way too expensive, I believe, but I now being played that I've played through it, I think for the right person, it would be worth $40 all day. It's definitely worth the infinity price. And I'll tell you what, I've never played a game that had that what's that horror movie um that had the vibe of where you're like,
Saw.
yeah, Saw. It has a Saw vibe. It's like you're having to figure these puzzles out, and um you don't want to do it the wrong way, because not only is she gonna die, you're gonna die. If somebody's fucking with you in this house, and you saw in the beginning they've got those monitors and stuff, they're just chilling watching this whole thing, just really enjoying the show. See, they're pushing, hey, let's see where this chick's gonna take this guy, and she stumbled into him, and he's chained up. So Then the weird thing is, Wes, is like it says it's in English, but she's clearly speaking Japanese, and I guess there's little things every now and then. So they want that language barrier there as well. There was one thing that that annoys me is like if now I want to yell at her. Like if I click on something, I mean it. Don't ask me,
Yeah.
are you sure? Yeah, you know.
Well, I kind of get it. I do wish it was a little quicker because there's a lot of time wasted there with the interactions. But I do get the "Are you sure?" Sentiment because it's one of those games where if you make one false move, dude, that's a big mistake. Um, but I mean, this game has it on so many different levels for me. First of all, the production value. I mean, just how realistic outside of the little, anime girl, the environments were extremely realistic looking, or at least I thought they were.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and then you're right though. The first time that I did use the no thing was when I first told her to go push that button, and she went over there and she asked me, and then I looked closer and I shook my head instinctively because I saw blood and it looked like it was a bad place to go. You know what I mean? And I was right. As soon as she pushed that button, she's not very quick, Wes. She took a little bit too
No.
long. She should have pulled her head out quick, but she gets stuck in there. And you know, this is the first puzzle, so I don't, well, I guess second. The first one was really easy. I don't think we're really giving too much away. But yeah, she gets her head stuck in there, and then things go downhill from there. And then all of a sudden, my head's stuck in somewhere, and like I said, I felt like I almost felt a guilty, gloating feeling, like, oh, well, look what you did. You got your head stuck in there. You know, you should have been paying attention. And then next thing I knew, my head was stuck. And then the same thing that happened to her happened to me, Wes. And then everything was different. So,
Yeah, well, that's another one of the cool things about this game, Roots. Of course, this is a dungeon game. It's a puzzle game with some. I mean, the early puzzle uh, or two, the first one or two puzzles are kind of simple, just to kind of let you learn what the score is and what you're doing here. But they ramp up fairly quickly, and I don't consider myself. I've always kind of not really given this game much thought because I'm not the type of guy that plays games with little anime Japanese girls in it. It's just not my scene.
mine
But
neither.
the cool thing about this is if you don't like little Japanese anime girls, this is the game for you because all you got to do is make the wrong move, and it's curtains for that girl, and it's not nice. She does not go peacefully. They grind her up and behead her and do all sorts of different evil shit to her. It really is like Saw, and I laughed my ass off the whole time I was playing this game.
I bet, because this is the part right here. See, this thing comes and now you get stuck. And I was like, oh shit, man. Like, oh, this is happening to me. It was very reminiscent of Resident Evil 7 when I put the videotape in there and I was watching the scene and I thought, oh man, that's messed up for that chick. And then all of a sudden I was the chick and oh shit, you know, like I don't like to be stuck in that thing. It was one thing for her to die. But yeah, that I mean I was impressed, like you said. Everything about this game so far is amazing. I think it's probably what a couple hours long. I don't think it's the longest game, but
I don't know.
um
I didn't finish it. I just went into it for a few minutes, and really, that's my whole question here. If this game has enough content to it, I have absolutely no problem with the price because the production values are high, the puzzles are intricate, and I mean, even the mechanics of some of these machines they've built are almost Rube Goldberg esque. I mean, it's so complex what they've got going on here. And again, I just saw the beginning of the game. On top of that, you've got a very dark motif. You've got the communication barrier because you're tied up. You can't do anything except for point at things with a laser pointer and have this girl who speaks a different language kind of try to figure out what you want her to do. It adds a whole different level of immersion. It adds a whole different level of difficulty to solving these puzzles. And again, one wrong move, and that's where the gore comes in, right? So many different things I love about this game. If it's 5 hours of content, I say it's every bit going to be worth the original $40 price tag that came with it.
yeah. So do you see yourself going back into this game?
Oh, and without question, I'm going to finish this one because again, it just speaks to my taste on so many levels, and I can't believe it took me this long to get in here and try it out.
Yeah, well, it's like so many other games, and that's why I was thinking is like how many other good games or amazing games are hiding in this Viveport Infinity trough. You know what I mean? Like, because you just, even though, I mean, this is one that I knew existed and I knew it was good, but I didn't know it was good, if you know what I mean. Because just like somebody was asking about that new Project Wingman in the chat, and people are raving about it. I don't know how good it is. I mean, I hear that it's good. But until I find out, it's and try it, but there's so many good games in Infinity. I stand by what I was saying the other day that if you had absolutely no games at all and you just bought the Viveport Infinity for 1 year, as somebody new, you would have so many games you could. I mean, you might not, and you were even saying this, you might not have the newest ones, but some of them you will. There's so many that come out and they're straight to Viveport Infinity. It's becoming a powerhouse, and it's the one thing I can point to that Vive is really nailing it on. So
Yeah, man, new games every week and good games at that. So yeah, unbelievable some of these titles. And yeah, again, just blown away by Last Labyrinth. Wish I really would have gotten into it earlier today because I can tell I'm going to dig this one, and it's something that I think fans of a few different kinds of games are going to really get into. For example, I think Main Fan will like this game, even though these types of puzzlers might not be his thing. I think he'll get into the how intricate some of these contraptions are, and I know he'll get into the dark nature of it.
yeah, well, and what the thing with Mainfan too is he'll solve these puzzles a lot quicker than I will because you sound like you got past this puzzle. I did not. I watched her die several times in the same way. Although I was starting to figure out, it's kind of cool because every time it goes over one, oh, there he just did it. Son of a bitch. Anyway, so every time they go over one of those panels, it changes the symbol, and then those things will come out like different. It makes it come out through a different tunnel. So like everything's changing constantly. So I'm just gonna have to ignore what I just saw. Thank God I didn't see exactly what happened there, Wes. I just saw that it somehow made it through. I knew that was the one you needed to go through though. So
Yeah, well, I didn't see it either. Thankfully, I did not beat that
oh,
puzzle. I
okay.
went into it one time. I didn't try it multiple times. I went into that one time, watched the little girl get decapitated, watched myself get decapitated, and then on my next trip through, I mean, there's a whole different way you can go in the building. I didn't even go into that room. I
Oh,
went the other
really?
way.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Man, I did not know that. That's cool. That adds a whole different element to it, right? It's not 100% linear. That's cool.
Right. I went the other way and watched her die a different gruesome
Oh
death.
God. So I've never seen that. So what's cool too is like if you're not into the gruesomeness of it, like you can immediately tap A and it'll take you to that window scene. And so you're still kind of watching it, but you're not there, so it might not be as visceral for you. And then if you don't even want to see that, you can tap A again and it'll just go out completely. So you don't have to watch, which I question why you would want to play it and not watch the scene at all. But I mean, there are people out there that don't like stuff like this, so maybe that would be a way to get them into the game. But I
Yeah,
thought it was cool.
perhaps.
It was cool.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Very cool. Definitely, I recommend here for anybody that has Infinity, and then possibly a recommend as well. Depending on how long the game is. Again, I don't know how much content there is here, but it's certainly top quality. What is here? I really enjoyed it, and I really do recommend it to fans of this type of dungeon puzzler.
Yep, for sure.
Another thing too, I just want to point out is I don't remember who it was, but we were talking about a Wake In recently, and somebody was kind of laughing at the idea of having you, the main character, be in a wheelchair, like it was going to be some kind of impediment to being a good game. Not an impediment in this one.
No, no. And I mean, all you do is point, right? Now, I would suggest to her, like, why did you have to wheel me right into the spot where that thing is going to drop on my shoulders? Could have put me over about 3 feet to the left it would have dropped, and I would have looked over and saw that thing fall, and I would have laughed. Instead, I got my head stuck and chopped off, and it's crazy.
You know what the funny thing about this game is as good as it is, they probably could have done this game on Oculus Go. I mean, you could Oculus Go could do, head pointer, selection screen like that with button selections, which is pretty much what you're doing. So I think that this game, as long as the hardware has the graphics engine to produce these kind of graphics, this can pretty much run on any VR.
Okay. I agree. I definitely agree. It's definitely basic enough, but it looked so good. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know, man. It was really good. Radio Run says this is not his type of game. Well, if you don't like horror at all, or you don't like the thought of watching a little anime girl get her head chopped off or grinded into a meat grinder or all the other ways that she gets to die, I would suggest that you do a better job. Don't let her die, bro. Like, just get through there. You just play the game and never lose, and she'll never die. You guys will get out of there. It'll be a peaceful, fun time for you. But
There you go.
you slip
Just
up one.
be good.
Yeah, you slip up one time, though, man. She's going to the meat grinder.
Yeah, yeah. It almost makes me want to, screw up on purpose because it's so comical. Some of the ways that they kill this little girl.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's I felt a little bit bad for her, but I didn't in a sense because, like I said, man, she's just wheeling me through this. She didn't even try to let me out, Wes. Like, she just started wheeling me around into these rooms. She could have at least tried to take my shackles off or something.
Yeah, that was the first thing I pointed at were the shackles on my hands. They're like, hey, how about we try to open this?
Yeah, let's get me out of
But,
this chair, bro, or something.
but anyway, two thumbs up here. Really, really good. Really impressed with this one. And that's going to bring us to our next game. And this game's been on my radar basically because of how much it looks like another game. I've been really, really, highly anticipating the release of Undead Citadel. And as it gets pushed back time and time and time again, it's leaving me hungry for this type of game. And on face value, looking at the promotional material for the Road
Uh,
to Valhalla,
Shadows
Road
of
to Valhalla, Shadows of Valhalla. Okay, I forgot the title of it. My bad there. No, not working from notes today. Shadows of Valhalla. It looks very similar on the face to the Undead Citadel, but that promotional material. It pretty much that's where it stops. I was really surprised when I got in this game, Roots, to find out it wasn't that type of game at all. This game is more like a Hell Split Arena, in my opinion.
yeah, it's kind of more of a wave shooter, right, or a wave slasher of sorts, correct?
Right,
Um,
right. It's more of like an arena-based wave melee type game, and again, it really put me in the mind a lot of the Hell Split Arena.
I was my first thing. What I thought was after playing for like 5 to 10 minutes, I thought, oh man, the way that they slowly brought out the big spiders. How cool would it have been for like someone like Radiorant to get in there and all of a sudden, because they're like you at first it's just these guys coming, and then all of a sudden spiders start coming, and there's certain people that they don't want to do anything with spiders, man. And they were pretty big, and they spit acid at you. Um, but I don't know. You said you played for what, 60 to 90 minutes?
Yeah, I played this game for probably close to an hour, and you know, uh, my opinion on it is mixed. Now, I guess to be fair, we need to point out right off the top that this is an early access title, and it just came into early access. It's a new release. Uh, so, some jank is to be expected here, and there absolutely is some jank that you're going to have to deal with. For example, I had to start the game over once because there's this bug where if you knock one of the enemies down and you strike them while they're down just in the right spot in their back, they will literally go apeshit crazy and go flying off the
Mm.
map. But
Mm.
but they don't die. So like literally, this guy got stuck over on the mountain, and I couldn't progress through the
Oh.
wave because I couldn't get to him to kill him. So stuff like that, a little bit annoying, but a very good looking game. I really enjoyed the atmosphere, the look of the game, and the melee mechanic was decent. I felt. There's definitely room for polish with the melee fighting. I felt like they could have done a little better job with the defense, the blocking with the shield. Sometimes seemed like you should have blocked a shot and it somehow got through. But besides that, I mean, it's a little clunky. Guys falling down a lot and getting back up. Uh, but it was fun. I enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, you know what was fun is like I just used the shield to bash everybody, and almost nobody would come near me because I would jump in and immediately bash them, and they would fall down. And then when they were trying, they would pop back up. But guess what was waiting for them, Wes? A big fucking mace, a spiky mace was waiting for their face or whatever I had in my hand. So I would knock them down. They would pop back up into my weapon, and I would just start slashing the hell out of them. But as you progressed, after you got through the first, I don't know how many, I went through the first pillar or whatever, got my stone. I got started on the second one, and then it seemed like there was more enemies. There was a little bit stuff coming from behind a lot, as that was the biggest thing. As I'm fighting other stuff's coming from behind.
Hey,
But
Roots, you know who loves that when stuff comes from behind?
yeah, she sure does, bro. Like she hasn't heard. She's been kind of pissing me off lately. She hasn't been around the show lately. I think she's getting offended. But I'll tell you what though, that it was so cool to do that. There's just so many different ways. And one thing that was cool about this, Wes, I don't know if you messed around with all the different weapons that are laying around, or if somebody drops one, was the axes. Picking those axes up and throwing them and hitting, landing it. It was pretty cool, man. I agree. It definitely was a little bit needs some polish as far as some of the fighting, but I enjoyed my time as well. So.
Yeah, I never occurred to me to throw the axes. I did pick them up, and that's one of the cool things about it. There's a wide variety of enemies with a wide variety of weapons, and when you take them out, you can pick up their weapons. I didn't think to throw them. Now, let me ask you this. The way this works, every time you beat a wave, you get a little rune stone
Mhm.
that you can put into this shrine. And then every 3 stones that you put into the shrine, it will give you back a bigger, like kind of I don't know, amulet, like a big stone. And how long did it take you to figure out how to use those in game?
What, the stones, or just to put them in that
The,
little thing and?
the stones. You can actually use those after you get the bigger stones out of the thing.
Well, I used them enough to put them in that little slot, and that was it. I didn't figure out anything. So, I'm assuming. I mean, hey, so there's like special powers or something. Can you fly
Yeah.
or?
No, it took me a while to figure it out because there's no instruction, nothing pointing to telling you that you can use these in this way. But the one you start with heals you first of all.
Oh,
Every time that you finish a wave, you can grab that one big stone that you start with, and it'll give you a little health back. But each other stone that you get in between the every third wave, it has some kind of a special attack.
hmm.
So there was the first one, for example, was a fireball that you could throw and burn one of the guys up. The second one, I think, was a kind of like that bubble in Death. You'll throw it and it'll pretty much freeze the enemy and let you attack it.
Oh,
So it's basically like that. The further you get into the wave, the more abilities that you unlock and the more weapons that you'll find laying around.
okay. Well, I agree. I think that would be. Hey, there's the radio runt spider right there. I kind of feel like that's something that they should tutorial or let you know or something, because as far as I knew, they were just milestones to unlock to the next wave. You get your 3 parts and you get the one stone, you grab it, you stick it in the thing, and you move on to the next one. I didn't even know you could really access that at all. But yeah, so that'd be good. Good idea. Just a little tutorial in the beginning, a minute, 2 minutes, or whatever, or something.
Or they could do what Hinge did. Because I was lost the first time that I played Hinge. I didn't know what to do with these cigarettes or what they meant or that place where you went. I didn't know what any of that was. But when they patched it, now all of a sudden, words pop up on the screen and explain it to you
Mm,
what the cigarettes are for, what the other area that you go to is for. They could do something similar to that here so that you don't have to have a dedicated tutorial, but rather it just kind of explains to you, okay, you can grab this now, and now you have a fireball,
yeah.
and that's all they would need.
Yeah. Well, definitely would be a good patch for sure, or something in addition. But yeah, so I enjoyed my time there. Now I don't know what does this cost. Games what, $20? I think I thought I remember just
I have
regular.
no idea what it retails for. It's an Infinity title to me, which means it's free.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was around $20. Um, I think there's only one map on here, Roots. I could be wrong, but I think as the game stands right now, there's just one map. But if you read down, I don't know if you saw their list of coming updates, but they had more maps coming, more weapons, more enemies, and it also said that there were going to be some quote RPG style missions. So a lot more content. The scale of this game, according to the developer, going to grow dramatically over the coming months. So, they've got a good start to a game here. I'm really interested to see where they take it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's $20 on Steam. So yeah, I like Infinity free, bro. Another good
Yeah.
solid game to try on Infinity, and won't cost you a penny if you already have the
Yeah.
subscription.
Yeah. Meow Meow the Gamer Cat says Hellsplit. Yeah, there's a game called Hellsplit Arena, which is this type of arena based melee game with the same kind of motif with the skeleton zombies and stuff. And that game really is the gold standard for this genre. That's a really good one, Hellsplit Arena, and I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't tried it yet.
Yep, I agree.
Drilla says, "What game is this? I just got here and I missed it. This is well, I'll let Roots tell you because apparently I'm off base a little bit.
Well, Shadows of
Oh, how
Valhalla.
you got it? Yeah,
Yeah,
Shadows of Valhalla. I
yeah.
thought it was the road to Valhalla, but it's actually the road to Asgard. If you pay attention to the story, the whole idea is you get killed at the beginning of it, and you're in the afterlife, and you have to battle your way to Asgard, the glory of Asgard, and you have to survive Ragnarok to get there.
Oh, cool, man. That's sound. It's funny though. All those different things have been in so many games over the years, right? Uh, you know, Ragnarok and just different things. It's kind of cool to bring it all together. So,
Yeah, Drilla says, "Where is our undead citadel?" That bro, you took the words out of my mouth. Just scroll back, you'll see. That's the whole reason I picked this game, Drillo, is because I want Undead Citadel. Undead Citadel looks amazing. Most people will tell you there's about a dime worth of difference between a wave shooter slash battler and a rail shooter slash battler, but I disagree. I'll take the rail, the linear path all day long because I like to have a variable environment. I like the landscape that I'm fighting in to change. So there's a big difference to me between an arena style game and a linear rail style game, and that's what I really wanted from this one. Not to say that this is going to be a bad game or anything, but I really look forward to Undead Citadel, making my way through these levels and fighting the undead bastards.
so you must have felt the same way I did, Wes. You worked your way to that gate, and you thought you were going to go through it and keep moving, and it just
Yep.
kept staying there. And then there was a point where it dawned on me. I was like, "Oh, this is a wave thing." And so I just went back and I just chilled, and I found my favorite spot, found my favorite weapon, and just went to town. So,
Yeah, Scott Merrill says, "Sorry guys, a little behind on the show, but according to the game description, Last Labyrinth
oh, oh,
10.5 hours."
wow.
So if that's true and the quality of the game holds up to the beginning of it, yeah, $40 all day on that one.
$30
I have no
is a
problem.
steal, dude.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Dude, how good did that? I mean, this is a quest. I mean, it's on Quest too as well, Last Labyrinth. So, man, if it's 10 and a half hours, I would say $30 all day long, bro. If you don't have access to PC VR, man, and that's your jam, I guarantee it's going to look amazing on the Quest too, standalone, right?
Yeah, Paul Bolinos has been waiting for Undead Citadel too long. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't know this to be fact, but a lot of these games that have been using the COVID delay lately, what they're really doing here is they see the cash cow that Quest 2 is, and they want to launch on Quest 2. So I don't know that that's the case here, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they don't want to do a multi-platform launch, at the same time, Quest 2 being counted among them. I know that's the case with like Sniper Elite, for example. They postponed their game to launch on Quest. Or what was another one? Well, there was another one we reported on yesterday that was the same deal that uh, was it Awake In? I think it was Awake In that's going to launch early next year, but also going to launch on Quest. So yeah, so kind of the what I suspect is at hand with Undead Citadel.
Yeah. Well, somebody said this is a little dark. Now there is an option in the settings for it to be lighter, but I left
Yeah,
it darker because I felt like it would be a better game dark, but there is a setting for that as well. So
yeah. Yeah, I would. I did the same thing. I turned it on for about a half a second, and I felt like it was too bright for the genre, so I turned the lights back out. But you can brighten it up quite a bit.
I just want Radio Run to just hang out with that spider for like 10 minutes. Just chill with him, bro. Just a couple minutes, Radio Run. Just give him a hug, cozy on up to
Yeah,
him.
what was really cool about those spiders is they kind of operate like the far point spiders, right? They shoot those green balls at you, and the cool thing about this is you've got that shield,
You can
and it
block him.
actually works very well to block those
Dude,
projectiles.
that shield was my friend. I swear to God, I was running around and I was shield bashing everything, and everything would stagger or fall back down. And then, like I said, as soon as they were popping up, I literally was swinging down into their face, and it was so much fun, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because like they were doing all the work, Wes. They were popping up into that shit. It was good. I liked it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna let you say hello to the chat for about a half a second here while I step away from the camera just to take care of something
All
real quick.
right. Well, yeah, it is dark, but Meow Meow says it's very dark, right? But yeah, adorable Spidey. I would say the look at the dragon in there too. I really wish we could have fought this dragon. It did look pretty good. Now that was the only time that I felt there was a little bit of jitteriness because I kicked everything up aside from the lighting to make it look good, and it gave me like a low memory warning, so I went and shut a bunch of tabs down. But it was the only time where things kind of looked a little weird because there was a lot of flames. But this was actually really cool too because didn't they have a was there torches in this, or was that um the next one? I don't remember carrying a torch around in something. Oh no, that was that other game that we're not
It
doing
was
this week.
Hell Split, the one we were talking about.
No, the other game that I played that we'll be talking about at a future date that you didn't get a chance to get
Oh,
in.
I got you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, yeah. No, no, I have no idea about that one, but I think there you can fight with a lot of different things in Hell Split Arena, and maybe torches was one of them.
So yeah, I
Anyway,
definitely a
let's
recommendation. I would say to try out on Infinity for sure. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the cool thing about Infinity, right? What's the risk?
yeah,
Your hard drive space. Which, by the way, I went on a house cleaning spree this morning, Roots, cleaning stuff off my hard drive. If it's not something that I might play in the next week, it's not installed anymore on
mm.
any of my three hard drives.
Well, that's good. I need to do the same thing for Medal of Honor. And I don't know, I know a lot. There's been a lot of discussion, Wes, and we talked a little bit about where we're going to buy it. I'm still going to buy it on Steam because I'm not. I refuse to do the swapperoo with a game that big. Like, I mean, I literally, if I want to get a game and not play it, because that's why I don't play Asgard's Wrath because I don't have hundreds of extra megabytes or gigabytes on my of hard drive space. And until Oculus fixes their updating ways, I got into an argument with somebody, Wes, in Population One that just started telling me one that it wasn't 160 gigabytes in size, and that two it wasn't going to be an issue because I was telling somebody, and I was like, dude, I just reported on it like few hours ago. Like I'm pretty sure that's exactly the case. I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing things wrong.
Yeah, Radio Rent says I cleared off my hard drive today. I'm picking it up on Steam. Yeah, it's kind of the same deal here. I now have 150 on one of my SSDs, and I've got like 180 on the other. So I guess I'll put it on that one. But a couple of things for you to consider, Roots. One, someone I read in our Discord today said that the Oculus SDK will only be available on the Oculus version. Now you can play it with your Quest on Steam, but you'll be using the OpenXR version, not the Oculus SDK. Second thing that you might want to consider is I probably am going to get it on Steam, and you'll have access to my copy regardless. So,
Hmm.
I mean it'll kind of limit us. You won't be able to play the multiplayer when I'm on there, but you would be able to play the single player campaign so long as you're not playing when I'm playing.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not too. I'm just more worried about having to update this thing and then having to
Yeah,
delete it and re-download the entire game again. And it just it still baffles me. I don't know if Steam can do it. Why? What is Oculus doing? Is there like somebody tell me in the chat in the comments? Tell me the benefits. Like, why am I wrong? Why should they make you have to have double the space on your hard drive? However, what is the benefit of a completely fresh install every time or whatever they're doing? I just I don't know. That's crazy.
yeah, it is kind of crazy, and it is the reason why I probably haven't played Asgard's Wrath as much as I should. Because months ago I uninstalled it because I needed the space. Uh,
Same
you
here.
know, when I started when I started installing flat games to mod, those are big games, and you need space for them. So I chose to keep, GTA 5 and Control over Asgard's Wrath.
Yeah.
So that's just me.
Yeah, so I think that that for me trumps the Oculus SDK. Plus, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna always have an Oculus headset. So, and the one thing that I would have enticed me to get the Quest version, or I mean the Oculus version, is the cross buy, which some people have said. Driven by said that in the Discord today, and I don't know that that game's gonna ever come to Quest. I mean, maybe, but if it's 160 gigs on launch, what game are you going to get for the Quest? I mean, there's people out
Yeah.
there that legitimately have just 64 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, of space, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't. That's not even a third of it. So I don't know, man. Or almost a third.
Yeah, Quadzilla said you could always install it on an external hard disk and move it over. That's true, and I do have one of those for pictures and video. But I'm pretty sure the Oculus suggested that you don't install this on a hard disk at all. That you should be using an SSD to play it. So
Yeah,
kind of a rough one,
I think,
especially when you're relying on USB transfer speeds on top of the already slow mechanical drive. You'll probably be waiting quite a bit if you do it that way.
yeah. So I don't know. That's my thought on it. That's why I'm going Steam. And if it was anything else, because I've never heard any, I've just never had this issue where I'm worried about the space. So I'm just hopefully they'll figure a different way to do it down the road. But I said that about Asgard's Wrath, and here we are again. So
Yeah, they're going to have a different way to do it. It's called no more PC releases ever.
yeah, well, it's coming.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. There's a reason why they're dipping their toes into Steam, right? They're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah. Well, Girillo said he's not essentially reading between the lines. He's not buying that the game is that good. 9700K recommended, 160 gigabytes, 2080 recommended, SSD. It's not that good, bro. Is
I know
what I just read.
9700K is a big number, but it's really not that advanced of a CPU. It's a eight core, 8 thread CPU. It doesn't even have multi-threading. So I think basically what they're getting around at here is that you want to have at least 8 threads. 8 cores preferable, but you want to have 8 threads to run this game.
I gotcha. Well, Quadzilla, or what is it? Somebody said that, oh, Void says, I read the issue is the same on Steam. Is that not true? I didn't read that, but if that's the case, then I don't know what the hell I'm ranting about for nothing. For real.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that that's the case. I've never seen a game do that on Steam, and I have witnessed it on Oculus. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean that would be a
I'm not
good
a
that would be good rumor for Oculus to get out there right now, but I have never seen that on a game either in existence. Like Asgard's Wrath was the first thing that I've ever seen that. When I read that the first time, I was like, "What? Like I gotta have double the space?" Um, and even then, it wasn't even double; it was even more than double. So, I don't know.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yep.
9700K has multi-threaded cores. The 9500, no, it doesn't, Dorillo. I looked at these. Uh, he says 9600s. I'm sorry. Yeah, 9700K is 8 cores, 8 threads. I thought about buying it until I found that out, and when I learned that it didn't have multi-threading, that's why we went with 9900K.
Oh
Uh,
Jesus.
so,
Yeah.
no, it does not. I think you're confused, friend.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I need to upgrade my processor now today. I don't know, where's my box? No, just kidding.
Whoa, whoa! My headphones just died. I don't know if maybe my battery's dead here. Hold on.
Oh, I can hear you. Did you say your headphone died?
Yeah, hold on just a second here.
Okay.
I don't want to. I can hear you through my television speakers, but it's
Oh, I got you.
it's,
Well, I thought you said hippos, and then I was like, what hippos is he talking about? You chat.
yeah, my headphones died,
Yeah.
and the battery. It says the battery's good. They I guess they just de-paired with my
Okay.
Bluetooth here. I can hear you through my TV screen, but I'm afraid that you're probably going to be echoing through my microphone if I don't fix it. So
Okay.
have a
Well,
second here.
Ray Pope is feeling bad. Oh, I do hear a little bit of an echo. He said he's feeling bad for us with our crappy 8700Ks. And Zazzy the Beast just stopped into the stream. I wanted to say hi to Zazzy. If you haven't seen, you think I'm good at Pop One? Actually, I just saw on his streams today, Wes, Zazzy was touting that he's in the top 10, bro, on kills, and he's trying to hold that number. And so you want to see some amazing Population 1 kills and gameplay, stop by his stream sometime, either on YouTube or Twitch.
I don't know why this thing won't connect up. Yeah,
I
the
think
8700K has been fun. Has been fine with me. But I had the opportunity to upgrade at zero cost to myself. Uh, so I had to take it. You know, there were some really good sales last week, and I was able to. I mean, somebody's going to buy my 8700K, and I'm going to put that with a gift from someone else, and cost completely covered.
Nice.
Up to a 8 core CPU without any out of pocket money. So
Sweet. And you're still staying Intel, which in my opinion is good.
it was cheaper, man. I looked at the Ryzen. You know, the other good thing about this was it plugs right into my motherboard. I didn't have to buy, like, if I had got a Ryzen chip, I would have had to buy a whole new motherboard. But this i9 9900K, it'll go into the Z370 motherboard, so I didn't really even have to consider that at all.
Some
But
bitch,
even
dude.
like
I need to do
e-
that then.
chip to chip, Intel has dropped their prices now to the point where they're kind of the bargain version now. You know, Ryzen's becoming the performance option while Intel's becoming the budget option. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Now I just feel, I feel like I'm falling back behind. Main fan's getting his 3080 today. Wes is flashing 9900s.
Oh,
Um, all-
did main fan order the graphics card?
no, he got it today. He posted some performance monitoring, or I guess some performance things, and it was like night and day. Like on the 1080 Ti, it was good, but like his performance thing is marked almost pegged to 5 or whatever. So it was good.
So let me ask. I'm gonna go ahead and ask the chat really quickly here. How's the echo? Are you guys hearing like an echo on Roots when he speaks?
not on me. That's not acceptable. I don't hear it, but
What it is, you're kind of going into the air here, and I'm
Mm.
afraid my mic might be picking it up, and my headphones are still being buttholes. So,
Blam. Yeah, Blam is slumming it on the 3070, man. I'm feeling bad for you, bro. Slumming it,
dude,
dude.
did you see the 3060 Ti that came out the other day?
No, no. Is there a point to get the 3060 Ti? Why not get the 3080?
Yeah, there's not a point for you, but for somebody that's out there on like a 1080 Ti, 3060 Ti is $400,
Hmm.
and it's got the performance of a 2080 Super.
Dude, I need it to be summertime when I'm actually working, when I actually have hours, and then I could have all sorts of money. Or how about like roommates that have all their money or actually pay? That would be nice too. There's a
Yeah,
lot of things that like man, I'll tell you what, dude. If I could just solidify a couple things, I'm gonna do the law of attraction we talked about on dark frequencies, and I'm gonna draw that car Anthony was talking about in the finances. Um, nah, I don't know, man. I just want a new computer. So just somebody give it to me.
well, it'll come, dude. The tech is getting so cheap right now, man, that you're actually better off for waiting, because you're going to be able to pick this stuff up next summer at pennies on the dollar.
True, true. Maddie Matt says no echo, but I want lone echo too. And Michelle Dillon says no echo. What's going on, Michelle?
All right, so I guess what we're going to do here then is I'm going to take the headphones off. I'm going to hold my mod mic up here close to my mouth, and we're going to just wing it through this last game. An interesting one here, Roots. Not one that I was really on my radar until yesterday. I reported it as a new Viveport Infinity title, and that is the Paranormal Detective return. Was it called Return to the '80s, Back to the '80s, or something like that?
Yeah, something about the 80s. Kind of why I wanted this retro background because of this. But man, this game, dude, like if you hadn't said anything about it, I would have just seen it as the game that's always on sale for on Oculus. I even saw it today. And I went into this game and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. And what I was telling you before we started the show, my daughter works in a an actual escape the room game, a real one in real life, not VR. And when I went into this one actually made me feel like I was really in an escape the room type of scenario, to the point where there's like, if you've ever done those ones in real life, there's like locks and shit everywhere. There's codes, and I mean everywhere you look. And even just, I mean, it's just a spoiler here right off the bat. I'll give you guys a little bit of a tidbit here in the beginning, but the first thing is under the desk. I didn't even know I had to use the fucking clue, Wes. That's so obvious. Why did I not look under the desk for the code? But that was so cool because it was so easy, and I really enjoyed this game. You said you finished it, right?
Yeah, yeah, I did, and I finished it in its current state. The structure of the game really lends to future updates and new missions, but there's one mission in this, and basically what you have here is an escape the room. It's an I expect you to die style escape the room. And but what they've done with it is they've 80s retro nostalgia the hell out of it. I mean, it's got all sorts of cheesy 80s references in it, and it's got that flavor to it, that pixel ripped flavor to it. So at the same time of being a very competent and challenging puzzle game, escape the room puzzle game, there's also some fairly decent comedy going on here as well.
Yeah, I like the story too, and like all the different all the news clippings, and just reading through and trying to figure out what was going on, right? And I guess, like you said, the story was pretty cool. I just was impressed by the way it looked as well, and just how, oh, there it is. I guess, yeah, they would have found it anyway. Um, but the phone was pretty cool too, and I like that because like there's a phone number on there. It says you go to the main screen, which I guess in the '80s that was there was no smartphones, right? But you hit the button, and then you can call that, like one of those clue things, and it'll tell you the clue. And that's like, again, that kind of reminiscent for like a real escape the room, except for the one that I did it, you kind of just everybody in the group waves, and then if everybody waves and they say, okay, a good portion of the people want the clue, they give you the next clue. Here you use your phone, and it's pretty cool. So,
Yeah, the to be clear, the game is not set in the 80s. What you're doing is um, you're trying to investigate the disappearance of a child who went missing in the 80s.
oh,
And
okay.
his bedroom that you go and check out, or not his bedroom, but it's like a game room. It hasn't been touched since he disappeared. It was the
Okay.
last place he was seen. So everything that's in the room is has been there since like 1987. So there's like a cassette player, and all this different old technology. Like they had one of those old keyboards like you used to have when you were a kid that had all these different synth effects and stuff. And you can play with this stuff. Like you can go and switch the different effects on it and play with it. Um, Lots of cool stuff. They had an arcade machine set up in there. It was really basic, rudimentary uh, game on it, but it was playable. Certainly better than the one in Contagion VR Outbreak. So kudos to them for that. But no, man, I enjoyed this game, and really the finale is what makes it all worth it because you do figure out where this kid went to, and it's interesting. The genre of the game even changes during the final sequence. It it,
Hmm.
it isn't a puzzler anymore at the end.
Okay, that's cool. Well, did you? I'm assuming you did the arcade game. You beat it or whatever. And
I got the high score on it. I did,
did you get something out of it?
maybe.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
want
that's
to
just
spoil the
well.
puzzles too
I don't.
much.
Well, the thing is I don't know. I
Perhaps I
don't.
did.
Well, I didn't know if I did or didn't. If I happened to find something, I didn't find a use for it. So I'm assuming there's more to it. But I don't know. I just was really impressed with it. And Mr. Whiskers, that was cool. There was I saw the picture of Mr. Whiskers, and then I found some.
What about the Back to the Future poster on the wall? I bet that threw you back, huh?
Yeah, dude. That's just everything the nostalgia, right? But I thought it was cool that Mr. Whiskers was actually one of the cases, and you find out, there's so much to this to read and check out, and I really enjoyed it. It made me feel like I was in an escape the room, and it seems weird, but that to me is kind of cool. Like if you're doing a legit escape the room, it should feel like it, but you're in VR. So,
Yeah, yeah. Again, it was a really competent escape the room with some really challenging puzzles. I did, in the interest of time, I was playing this leading up to the show today. Use the hint functionality on that cell phone, which I hate doing. In a normal gameplay session, I would never do that.
mm,
But I'm kind of glad I did. I used it 3 times. Two of the times I feel like I probably would have figured out on my own, but there was one time in there that probably would have stumped me pretty good. So it was a good thing that I actually ended up using it, and it allowed me to get through the entire case, if you will.
and did you mess around with that remote control car? I was checking that out for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I played with it
Yeah.
a little bit. So I played with just about everything that you could interact with, and there was a pretty good lot of stuff you could interact with. I would say that a good percentage of it somehow plays into some kind of a puzzle, or at least gives you a clue of some sort. A lot of the stuff you can interact with actually ends up having some kind of an impact on the game.
Well, and that's kind of again, that's how real escape the rooms are. Like everything in there is suspect, man. Like you pick it up and you're like, okay, there's got to, you get to a point where you're stuck and you're like, I know there's something somewhere. And you start looking under tables, picking shit up, looking underneath it. And like you said, you can interact with everything in here, even to the point that you can mess around with that keyboard or the speak and spell or the typewriter over there. I don't think there's anything in here that you can't interact with that is a part of the room. So yeah, I for as cheap as this game is, I mean obviously free on Viveport Infinity, but even if you bought it outright, it's like $3 or $4 right now, right on sale.
Yeah, it's constantly on sale in the Oculus store, and if you enjoy this style of game, I would say like if you like, I Expect You to Die, that type of puzzle solving, or the nostalgia type of thing that you get from Pixel Rip 1989, then this is probably going to be worth your time. Like Root said, not very expensive. You can get it on sale frequently on the Oculus store, and if you have Viveport Infinity, it's included. Want to go ahead and say hello to Hussein X checking in, as well as our friend Gamertag VR. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Yeah, yeah. It's early for both of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're just waking up,
Yeah.
getting started. Gamertag says he's from the future. We're all from the future, bro.
Yeah, dude. Well, tell me what's gonna happen because I'm kind of
Yeah,
sketched by
yeah,
what's going on in the world.
yeah. It's a bit sus, right?
Yeah, this world's a little sus right now.
Word
Absolutely.
of the day, word of the year, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, anyway, I did enjoy it. It kind of surprised me. Took me a little getting used to at first. I didn't think in my first 5 minutes of the game that I was really going to like it because I play seated routes. I do. I play seated most of the time when I'm in VR. And then I was already had to get out of my comfort zone to play the Shadows of Valhalla uh, because of the type of game it was. But then we got into this one and there's no turning. I mean, it's kind of a semi room scale thing. Even though there is some teleportation that you can do, there's no turn functionality, which basically eliminates it as a seated game. You've got to stand up to play it. It took me a minute to get back used to doing that, but after I got used to it, I kind of settled in and really enjoyed myself.
Yeah. Well, you could always swivel. You could do the swivel chair, right?
I suppose so. Yeah, yeah. I was actually playing. I normally I don't play in my swivel chair all that much because it's so close to the ground,
Mm,
and it makes you feel like you're sitting instead of standing. Normally, I use my I have a high back bar stool that's way up off the ground, so even though I'm sitting, it feels like I'm standing in the game,
I gotcha.
and that's normally what I play in. So. Yeah, I guess I could have just switched over to this chair and would have been fine.
Did you change out all the music and stuff? I was like, because I
Oh,
can't.
dude, I found like 10 cassettes or something, like 8 to 10 of them.
Yeah,
And yeah, I played them all.
yeah. It was all old school music, right? It's cool.
Yeah, they kind of like rename, like Flock of Seagulls. It was like a group of geese or something like that. There was a tons of these different examples of them renaming these classic things from the 80s. Like instead of Iron Maiden, they had what was it, the Bronze Lady or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So it was good.
Yeah.
I-
So tons of nostalgia fun here, some good comedy, some challenging puzzles, and not much jank other than the lack of a turn function. Everything worked pretty well. So if you have Viport Infinity, I got to say I recommend this one if you're into this style of game.
Yeah, I agree. I do too. Actually, it's one of those games that I want to go back into because I didn't finish it. So
Holy crap, Roots. Gamertag says that Medal of Honor has been going for 12 hours downloading and it's still going.
wow, that's crazy. I'll tell you what. The future sucks. Well, the future does suck. Although we still got what, in a whole nother day, bro, even after this until it comes out. Does it come out tomorrow at midnight or do we know?
Yeah, yeah, something like that. And even longer if you're going to play it on Steam, you have to wait even another day.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's gonna be me. I don't know, man. There's parts of me that wants to run out and buy 2077 day one, and then there's other parts of me that are like, I'm not gonna do it. So
Hey, Jarillo, I got them gigabytes, baby. $20.
20, yeah, dude. $20. Yeah, dude.
Anyway, man, I guess that's going to wrap it up for us. Quick note, reminder, one more reminder. Last call for anyone who wants to uh, submit suggestions for awards on this year's 2020 show. The channel, I'm going to leave it up another day or two on the Discord. So if you guys want to suggest some different awards for us to hand out, the emphasis on the word different, which is what we're going for, something unique to our community. Feel free to get on there and suggest it. In a day or two, I'm going to take the thread down, choose the awards, and then we're going to start deliberating and voting all the way through the end of the year when we finally do the 2020 show. Um, Again, next week, probably going to be our last regular episodes of our ongoing content of 2020. We're then going to take a couple of weeks off, doing sporadic content, different types of things on the fly, of course, but not doing our regular shows, but instead preparing for the 2020 show. Roots, the more that time goes by and the more we're looking at, uh, our early preparation for the 2020 show, the more confident that I'm becoming that this thing is going to be absolutely amazing.
I think so too. I think it's going to be amazing. I think there's going to be all sorts of things that people aren't going to be expecting, and I can't wait.
Yeah, some really nice surprises if everything works out the way that it's supposed to. But we've got a couple of really nice balls rolling. You guys are not going to want to miss this. If you like the 2019 show rather, you're going to absolutely love the 2020 show.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. It's the big red button down there with the bell right next to it. Be sure to click that on the way out as well to stay up with all of our content, including aforementioned 2020 show. Uh, and yeah, be sure to join our Discord. Invitation in the description. That's where you get to mold the 2020 show by suggesting awards, by choosing the winners. We do it all in the Discord and more. We kind of all live there, and we talk life, games. Nothing's off the table. Although there are certain things we try to avoid talking about. We don't try to control what people say. You can come in there and talk about anything you want. So join us there, friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last but not least, for those of you who want to do a little something extra and maybe get even a little peek behind the scenes for the 2020 show preparations, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon. As little as $3 per month will buy you access to our weekly show notes, as well as the always awesome money show. So, for those of you who want to support us in that way, again, you'll find the link in the description. And as always, whether you are a Patreon supporter or not, we appreciate all of the support that has come from each and every one of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what rumor Wes was saying. There's a rumor that there might be a couple of creepos in the discussion for the end of the year conversation. And by creepos, I mean Patreons. That doesn't sound good anymore. I'm the creepo. But yeah, so hopefully everything will work out and we will be able to involve you in some way in that discussion. So
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we do here, right? It's not just our show, it's not just our community, it's all of our show, it's all of our community. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, with that said, friends, we would like to thank you once again for watching, and for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Take it easy, and it's not over, Drillo. We still got to talk about
It is not. It's not over at all.
it.